Want to know the biggest secret to speaking English in a way that captivates people? It's not about what you say, it's about how you say it. Have you ever noticed how some people can say the most ordinary things, yet everyone hangs on their every word? Meanwhile, others struggle to hold attention no matter how interesting their stories are. What's the difference? Today I'm breaking down the psychology and techniques of seductive communication in English. And no, this isn't about manipulation. It's about becoming magnetic. Let's start with a truth bomb. Seductive speaking has almost nothing to do with the words you choose. It's 90% delivery, 10% content. You could recite a grocery list and make it sound captivating if you understand these principles. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to transform your speaking style. The number one mistake people make? Rushing. When you're nervous or excited, you speed up. But here's what happens when you slow down. You create space. Space creates anticipation. Anticipation creates desire. People literally lean forward to catch your next word. Think about movie trailers. They don't rush through information. They pause. They let moments breathe. That's exactly what you need to do in conversation. Try this right now. Say, "I had an amazing day." Now say it again, but cut your speed in half. I had an amazing day. The second version makes people curious. What made it amazing? They want to know more. Strategic pauses are your secret weapon. Most people are terrified of silence in conversation. They fill every gap with words, like, or nervous laughter. But confident, seductive speakers, they embrace the pause. There are 3 types of pauses you need to master. First, the anticipation pause. This comes right before something important. I realized something about you. Pause. Let them wonder. Let them lean in. Second, the emphasis pause. This comes right after keywords. You're incredible. That tiny gap makes the compliment land harder. Third, the contemplative pause. Use this when someone asks you a question. Don't rush to answer. Take a breath. Look thoughtful. Then respond. It shows you're actually considering their words, not just waiting for your turn to talk. Here's your practice exercise. Tell a simple story about your day, but add 3 deliberate pauses. Feel awkward? Good. That means you're breaking old patterns. The awkwardness fades fast, but the impact stays. Let's talk about pitch. Higher-pitched voices convey excitement, nervousness, or youth. Lower-pitched voices signal confidence, calmness, and authority. Seductive communication typically sits in the lower register. I'm not saying force your voice unnaturally low. That sounds fake. Instead, speak from your chest, not your throat. Put your hand on your chest and hum. Feel that vibration. That's your resonance chamber. When you engage that, your voice naturally deepens and becomes richer. Practice this. Say hello normally. Now drop your voice slightly and say it again while focusing on that chest resonance. Hear the difference? That's the tone that makes people pay attention. Also, vary your tone strategically. Monotone kills seduction, but wildly bouncing around sounds manic. The sweet spot, gentle waves. Start sentences slightly higher, then let your voice descend as you finish. This creates a hypnotic quality. Here's something counterintuitive. Sometimes speaking quieter is more powerful than speaking louder. When you force people to listen closer, they become more invested in what you're saying. Obviously, you need to be loud enough to be heard. But once you've established that baseline, try dropping your volume on key phrases. And then I realized, lower your voice. Everything changed. They'll strain to catch those words, and that physical act of leaning in creates psychological investment. Think about ASMR videos or guided meditations. Why do they work? Because quiet, deliberate speech bypasses our logical defenses and speaks directly to our emotional brain. Now let's talk about the 10%. Words. While delivery matters most, choosing the right words amplifies everything. Seductive language is sensory and specific. Instead of, "That was nice," say, "That was exactly what I needed." Instead of, "You look good," try, "That color makes your eyes impossible to look away from." See the difference? Specific details show you're paying attention, and feeling seen is intoxicating. Use sensory words whenever possible. Instead of good food, say rich, savory, melts on your tongue food. Paint pictures with your words. Make people feel what you're describing. Also, use the word you more than I. You must have felt incredible when that happened is more engaging than I would have felt incredible. Make the conversation about them, and they'll be drawn to you. Seductive speakers don't explain everything. They imply. They hint. They let the listener's imagination fill in gaps. This is powerful because people convince themselves far better than you could ever convince them. Instead of, I'm really attracted to you, try, there's something about you I can't quite figure out. The second option is infinitely more intriguing because it's open-ended. Their brain starts working to solve that puzzle. Practice speaking in slight mysteries. I've been thinking about something you said earlier. Pause. Let them wonder which thing. Or, that reminds me of something. Smile. Don't immediately explain. These tiny moments of curiosity keep people hooked. Nothing kills seduction faster than uncertainty. Hedge words like maybe, kind of, sort of, I guess, make you sound unsure, and uncertainty is the opposite of magnetic. Compare these. I kind of think maybe we should try that restaurant versus let's try that restaurant. The second is decisive. Decisive is attractive. This doesn't mean being aggressive or domineering. It means knowing what you want and expressing it clearly. I'd love to hear more about that, Beats. If you want, maybe you could tell me more. Every single time. Even though people can't see you in a faceless video or phone call, your body language affects your voice. If you're slouched, your voice sounds weak. If you're standing tall, it sounds confident. When recording or speaking, sit up straight or stand. Smile, yes, even on phone calls. People hear smiles. Gesture with your hands as you talk. It adds natural rhythm and emphasis to your speech. Seductive communication creates connection. One powerful way to do this? Reference something from earlier in the conversation. Remember when you mentioned loving coffee? That's exactly what this reminds me of. Callbacks show you're listening and remembering. They create an inside language between you and the other person. That sense of we have something special is the essence of seduction. Let's combine everything. I'll give you two versions of the same message. First, the bland version. Hey, I enjoyed talking to you today. We should do it again sometime. Now the seductive version. You know what? Talking with you today, pause, was the highlight of my week. There's something about the way you see the world that I find, pause, lower voice slightly, completely fascinating. We need to continue this conversation. Soon. Same basic message, completely different impact. That's the power of these techniques working together. Here's how to practice. Record yourself speaking for 2 minutes about anything. Listen back. Notice where you rush, where you use hedge words, where your tone flattens. Then record again, implementing just 2 techniques from this video. Do this daily for a week. You'll feel ridiculous at first. That's normal. You're rewiring years of speaking habits. But stick with it. Within 2 weeks, people will start commenting that there's something different about you. They won't know what, but you will. Remember, seductive communication isn't about tricks or manipulation. It's about being fully present, confident, and intentional with your words. It's about making people feel heard, seen, and valued. Master that, and you won't just speak more seductively. You'll become genuinely magnetic. Now go practice. Your voice has more power than you ever imagined. It's time to unlock it. But before we wrap up, let me share something crucial that most people completely miss. There's a deeper layer to all of this. A psychological foundation that makes everything else work 10 times better. And that's the concept of vocal presence. Vocal presence is that invisible quality that makes certain people impossible to ignore. You know these people. They walk into a room, and without saying a word, energy shifts. When they speak, conversations pause. Others lean in. This isn't about being loud or dominating. It's about occupying your voice fully. Most people are living at about 30% of their vocal potential. They're tentative, apologetic, Their voice doesn't match their body. There's a disconnect. And people feel that disconnect subconsciously. It makes them uneasy. It makes you forgettable. Here's how to develop true vocal presence. First, you need to understand the concept of grounding. Stand up right now if you can. Feel your feet on the floor. Really feel them. Press down slightly. Now imagine roots growing from your feet deep into the earth. This isn't just visualization nonsense. This physical awareness changes how you breathe, which changes how you speak. When you're grounded, your voice comes from your core, not your throat. Put one hand on your chest and one on your belly. Take a breath. Which hand moved more? If it's your chest, you're breathing shallow. That creates a thin, reedy voice. Breathe so your belly expands. That's diaphragmatic breathing. That's where power lives. Now let's talk about something fascinating. The mirror neuron effect in communication. When you speak with confidence and presence, the person listening unconsciously mirrors that state. Their breathing slows to match yours. Their posture shifts. They enter your rhythm. This is why seductive speakers don't just communicate information. They create states of being in others. Think about a time someone made you feel completely at ease within minutes of meeting them. What did they do? Chances are, they weren't frantically filling silence. They weren't speaking quickly or loudly. They created a bubble of calm, and you stepped into it. You can do this too. Here's an advanced technique: emotional congruence. Your words, tone, pace, and energy need to align perfectly. If you say, "I'm excited to see you," in a flat, rushed monotone, your listener feels confused. Their brain receives mixed signals. But when you say it slowly, with warmth in your voice, with genuine energy behind it, they feel that excitement too. Let's practice emotional congruence right now. Think of something that genuinely makes you happy. Really picture it. Feel that warmth in your chest. Now say out loud, "That's incredible." Notice how different it sounds when you're actually feeling something versus just saying words. That difference is everything. Seductive communication requires you to feel what you're saying, not fake it. Feel it. This is why presence matters so much. You can't manufacture genuine emotion while you're anxious about what to say next. You have to be here now, in this moment. Let me share a story. I once knew someone who was objectively not conventionally attractive. Average looks, average height, average everything. But when this person spoke, rooms changed. People gravitated toward them. Why? Because every single word carried weight. Nothing was throwaway. Nothing was filler. When they asked, "How are you?" they actually wanted to know. You could feel it. That's the secret nobody tells you. Seductive communication isn't a performance. It's radical authenticity combined with intentional delivery. You're not pretending to be interested. You're genuinely curious. But you're also controlling the pace, the tone, the energy of how that curiosity is expressed. Now let's address something that might be holding you back. The fear of being too much, too slow, too quiet, too intense. Here's the truth. You're probably not too much. You're probably not enough. Most people dim themselves down to avoid standing out. They speak faster so they don't take up too much time. They speak quieter so they don't impose. They fill pauses so others don't get uncomfortable. But discomfort isn't your enemy. Strategic discomfort creates intrigue. When you pause and let silence sit, yes, it feels awkward. That's the point. That tension makes people pay attention. It makes your next words matter more. Great speakers, great seducers, they don't avoid tension. They create it, then release it. Think of it like music. A song that's all crescendo is exhausting. A song that's all quiet is boring. The magic happens in the dynamics. Loud then soft, fast then slow, sound then silence. Your speech needs the same variation. Here's a practical exercise for building this skill. Tell a story, any story, and intentionally make it longer than comfortable. Add unnecessary details about the setting. Describe the lighting, the temperature, the sounds in the background. Force yourself to take up space unapologetically. Most people rush through stories because they're afraid of boring others. But when you slow down and add sensory detail, something magical happens. People enter the story with you. They're not just hearing about your day. They're experiencing it. That's immersive communication. That's hypnotic. Let's talk about another critical element, eye contact through voice. Yes, you heard that right. Even without seeing someone, your voice can create the sensation of eye contact. How? By speaking directly to them, not at them. Imagine the listener is sitting across from you. Picture their face. Speak to that specific person, not to a vague audience. This is especially powerful in voice messages, phone calls, or yes, YouTube videos like this one. Right now, I'm not speaking to thousands of people. I'm speaking to you, the one person listening. Can you feel the difference? That's intimacy through intention. Here's something most communication coaches won't tell you. Vulnerability is seductive, not oversharing, not trauma dumping, but strategic vulnerability, admitting uncertainty, sharing a small fear, acknowledging a mistake. These moments of humanity make you relatable. They make people trust you, and trust is the foundation of all seduction. But here's the key. Vulnerable moments must be delivered with confidence. If you apologize for your vulnerability, you've ruined it. I'm probably oversharing, but no, don't apologize. State it clearly, own it, then move on. I was terrified in that moment. Period. No hedging. The confidence in the delivery makes the vulnerability powerful instead of weak. Now let's get into something advanced. Conversational threading. This is how you keep people engaged long after most conversations would die. Every time someone shares something, they're giving you threads, small details, offhand comments. Most people ignore these threads. Seductive communicators grab them and weave them back in later. For example, someone mentions they love coffee. 10 minutes later you say, "You know what? This whole conversation has that same richness you were describing in coffee earlier. Layered, complex. You've just shown you listen, you remember, and you make connections. That's intoxicating." Let's talk about pacing and leading. This is a concept from communication psychology that applies perfectly to seductive speech. First, you match someone's energy. If they're excited, you reflect excitement. If they're calm, you match that calm. This is pacing. You're joining their rhythm. Once you're synced, you can lead. You gradually shift your energy, and they follow. Imagine someone is speaking rapidly, anxiously. You start by matching their pace, showing you're with them. Then, sentence by sentence, you slow down. Your voice drops slightly. Your pauses get longer. Without realizing it, they begin to slow down too. Their breathing deepens. You've just changed their state without telling them to calm down. That's the power of leading. Here's a mistake people make with compliments. They make them vague and rushed. You look nice. Boring. Forgettable. A seductive compliment is specific, slow, and observational. The way you explained that, I could see how much thought you've put into it. That's rare. See the difference? You're not just flattering. You're noticing. You're appreciating something real. And never, ever follow a compliment with another sentence immediately. Give it space. Say the compliment. Pause. Let it land. Let them feel it. Then, only then, move on. Most people are so uncomfortable with giving compliments that they immediately dilute them with more words. Don't. Let's address something that might be making you self-conscious. Accents. If English isn't your first language, you might think your accent makes you less seductive. Wrong. Accents are magnetic when delivered with confidence. The exotic is intriguing. What kills seduction isn't the accent, it's the apology for it. Own your voice. Every unique quality about it is a feature, not a bug. Here's a powerful reframe. You're not trying to sound like everyone else. You're trying to sound undeniably like yourself, just amplified. Your quirks, your rhythm, your particular way of phrasing things. That's your signature. Polish it, don't erase it. Here's something subtle but powerful. The direction of your statements. Most people ask too many questions. Questions put pressure on the other person to perform, to have interesting answers. Statements create space. You seem like someone who thinks deeply about things is more powerful than, do you think about things deeply? The first invites them to open up naturally. The second demands an answer. Let's talk about vocal variety one more time, because this is where people plateau. They learn to pause, they learn to slow down, but they maintain the same pitch throughout. That's still monotonous. Your voice needs to dance. Go higher on moments of curiosity. Drop lower on moments of intensity. Let your pitch reflect your meaning. Practice this sentence with different emphasis. I never said she took the money. Say it 7 times, emphasizing a different word each time. Notice how the meaning completely changes. That's the power of vocal variety. Most people use maybe 20% of their available range. Use it all. Here's an uncomfortable truth. Seductive communication sometimes means saying less. We live in a culture that rewards constant talking. People talk and talk and talk, terrified of silence. But the most magnetic people know when to stop. They make their point and get out. They don't over-explain. They trust their words to land. If you've said something powerful, don't weaken it by adding more. That was the moment everything changed. Period. Don't follow it with, you know what I mean? Or, does that make sense? You've just undermined yourself. Say it. Own it. Stop. Here's an advanced move. The intentional vulnerability loop. You share something personal but not heavy. They feel honored and share something back. You validate their sharing without trying to top it. This creates safety. Safety creates deeper sharing. Deeper sharing creates intimacy. Intimacy is the ultimate seduction. But timing matters. Share too much too soon, and it's off-putting. Share too little, and you seem distant. The sweet spot? Share slightly more than they just shared, but not dramatically more. Inch the vulnerability forward gradually. Let's talk about endings. Most people trail off. Their energy drops at the end of sentences. They let their voice go up like they're asking a question even when making a statement. This kills authority. Instead, let your voice drop at the end of statements. Down, not up. This signals confidence and finality. Practice saying, I think we should meet for coffee. Say it with your voice going up at the end. Sounds tentative, right? Now say it with your voice dropping. Completely different energy. That downward inflection says, I'm not asking, I'm suggesting something I believe in. Here's something powerful about compliments I didn't mention earlier. Compliment the process, not just the outcome. You're beautiful is nice. The way you think through problems is fascinating to watch, is memorable. You're noticing effort, you're seeing beneath the surface. That's what people crave. Now go practice. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready. Now. Record yourself. Listen back without judgment. Notice one thing you want to improve. Just one. Work on that until it feels natural. Then pick the next thing. This isn't a sprint. It's a complete rewiring of how you communicate. Your voice has more power than you ever imagined. It's time to unlock it. Every conversation from this point forward is practice. Every interaction is an opportunity. Be patient with yourself. Be intentional with your words. And watch how the world responds to you differently. You're not learning tricks. You're becoming someone who understands the profound power of language and delivery. Someone who makes others feel truly heard. Someone magnetic. That person? They were always inside you. You're just finally letting them speak.